Welcome back to the Weekly Watch Report, where we discuss all the TV and movies that we watched this week. It's been a good week of watching some TV and some films. I'm excited to talk about it. It felt like I put in more time than usual this week.
I definitely did too. I clocked a lot of hours, for sure. So I've got a lot on here as well that I would love to dive into. Do you want to start, Rhea?
Yes, I will start off. Okay, I watched all of Too Hot to Handle, which was the new season on Netflix. And I'll give my quick thoughts. I was very confused at the initial obsession with Kayla. There were multiple beautiful, funny girls on the show. Every guy wanted Kayla. I guess that's just how it goes. I ended up really liking Kayla, and I also thought she was beautiful. I just was confused that nobody was paying attention to the other girls. That kind of lasted like an episode or two, so that didn't last very long. Like, obviously, everyone was like, all right, we're not all going to end up with Kayla, so we have to see other options here. Wasn't my favorite season. I would rate it a B minus.
Okay.
I was entertained.
Did you watch
Yes.
like all of 2 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
I never watched 2 or 3.
I really liked last season. But I would rate this one a B, I think. Maybe a B minus.
Did all the episodes come out at once?
No, last week and then this week.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a B minus. I wasn't like totally obsessed with it, but I also wasn't super bored by it. I was interested. And so I'm gonna give it a B minus. I have been watching Love Island Australia. It's losing my interest just a little bit right now. I do think I'm in a lull period. I do think it's going to pick back up. I'm watching the episodes on Hulu, so I'm not as quite caught up as you are.
Do you know what number you're at?
Episode 15.
Okay. Yeah. Has seen, I don't know, like, I don't want to like spoil anything, but I believe you're at the spot where some big bombshells enter.
Yes, I am. I'm excited to see where it's going. Right now, I'm not going to grade it this week because it feels wrong to grade it when I graded it an A+ immediately.
Yeah. Who are your favorites?
Claudia.
Yeah, I love Claudia and Austin.
I actually don't really
love Austin.
Any of them.
I really only like Claudia and Austin.
Yeah,
I hate Callum.
Claudia and Austin. Callum's an idiot. New Phoebe's an idiot. You know, I'm just
Mitch, idiot.
I don't like really any of them.
Yeah, I like
old Phoebe.
I like the OG Phoebe as well, but I think she could do so much better than Mitch. And I just don't really like some of Mitch's antics. I'll say I don't want to spoil anything if people are behind, but I don't really like some of Mitch's antics. Him and Callum are getting away with fucking highway robbery on this show. Nobody's putting them in their place. They're staying around week after week. It's like, send one of these guys home. I don't know how Callum has made it, but he's brutal, and he's obviously entertaining. Like, they're all very entertaining, which is why I've been locked in. But yeah, it's definitely a season where like they clearly all want the drama, and I think love is so secondhand. Sometimes they do try and force like we're all here to find love narrative, and you're like, no, you're not. Like, we don't believe you. And then when they go the other route and it's like, well, we're kind of just here to like fuck around, and then you're like, well, what am I watching? So there definitely a lot of them are there just to fuck around, but it is certainly entertaining. And I think Austin is a sweet gift, and the only one with a good head on his shoulders.
It seems so, and he's only 22, so good for him.
Yeah.
I also watched Prisoners, which is a fantastic movie that I saw.
I rewatched that right after you said you rewatched it.
Yeah. I saw it years ago. I remembered it being a great movie, and then I never thought about it since. saw it was the #1 movie on Netflix, and I was like, wait a second, I've seen this movie. And I remember watching this movie with my parents going, oh my God, this is such a good movie. Why aren't people talking about it? And now it's #1 on Netflix. I think people are discovering it now. It's with Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, all
I've
star
never
cast.
sano it.
Oh my
Oh,
God, you
Paul
gotta watch it.
Dano.
It's an amazing movie. It's a really good movie. Like really, really good.
Yeah.
And so that's an A+. Prisoners gets an A+ for me. It's such a fucking good movie. Like it has you on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Jake Gyllenhaal is such a good actor. Like
What
watching
year
this
was
movie,
that? What year was it
2013.
made? Oh, it's almost
2013.
10 years old.
Yeah, I remember watching with my I think we watched it probably on Christmas or some holiday, maybe Thanksgiving. But Jake
Huh.
Gyllenhaal created did you notice that, Rhea, when you were watching? He had a Twitch. He doesn't actually have a
Mm-hmm.
Twitch. He gave himself a Twitch.
Yeah,
His
it's a
character.
great movie. Fran, I really recommend you watch it. It's really
Yeah.
good. Came out obviously years
Terrence
ago.
Howard is in it. He's great.
81% on Rotten Tomatoes. High score.
Yeah.
And I can't rave enough about that movie. I think it's really fucking good. And then I watched the Sebastian Maniscalco comedy special on Netflix as well, which I'm curious how people feel about it because for me, it's very relatable because it's it's an Italian guy talking about his nonno, speaking, saying Butana Disgrazia, like so many
Yeah.
things that are relatable to specifically my family and I guess other Italian families. I don't know how somebody feels about it that doesn't necessarily relate to a lot of things he's saying because a lot of things he's saying are specific to certain families, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's talking about union guys and stuff like that. Like my dad worked in the union, everything is just very relatable. And so I laugh very hard.
Yeah.
But I would be curious about how other people feel because I think with comedy, you laugh at things that relate to you more.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think people also can still laugh, I feel like there's so many comedians that I watch that I don't relate to at all.
Right. No,
but
of course.
I still think,
you still laugh, but
yeah.
you laugh harder when you're like, oh my God, this is so us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Of course you still laugh. It's just funnier when you can relate to it. I'm going to give, this might be a controversial opinion because a lot of people were mad at him. A lot of people were mad at some of his jokes.
Mad is in inappropriate or
a lot, they just, politically correct stuff people were upset about. But I'm going to give it a B+ because I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Not his funniest.
Yeah.
But still funny.
That's good. I feel like people always want comedy show.
Maybe I'll give it a B. I'm torn.
What does your gut tell you? I mean, a B is still a good score.
I'm going to go B.
Okay. What else you got?
That was it.
Oh, wow. I have way more.
It definitely seemed longer in my head.
Yeah.
But maybe it was just because Too Hot to Handle was an entire season. Love Island was a lot of episodes. Right.
So should I
I had the White Lotus finale on there, but we already talked about it.
Yeah, we already talked about it.
Did you grade it though?
No, I'll grade it an A.
White Lotus?
Yeah, I'll grade White Lotus finale an A.
Okay, so to follow up from last week, I did finish shows, so I think that's important. I finished Dead to Me, so I watched 8.
Wow.
I finished Dead to Me. I watched 8 through 10. Finally finished, and I as much as I felt a tad disappointed, it also ended the way I kind of thought it was going to end. Every season has ended that way. I never thought I didn't think they would tie it up in a bow because it's just not that kind of show, even though I personally love when endings are tied up in a nice bow. Definitely a tearjerker. I felt there was a lot of parallels to real life for them doing this.
Yeah.
So that
was sad.
Made me sad. But I did enjoy it. So I guess 8 to 10, I'd give a B minus, somewhere in the middle. Like it wasn't crazy, but it was like they wrapped it up in a way that made sense. Like it ended and I was like, yeah, they would end it like that. Firefly Lane flew through the rest of the season. I loved it. I cried like a baby at the end. They just, God, they pull in the heartstrings, Firefly Lane. They really do. I think Katherine Heigl is great. There's a lot of moments where like, no, it started off a little slow, but then every time that Netflix was like, watch next episode, I was like, yes, I'm in. So definitely pulled on the heartstrings. I was a mess. You know, when they play, it was, Coldplay, Fix You, maybe? Like, just like one of those Coldplay songs. I think Fix You, where you're just like, come on, really? You're gonna pair this moment with Fix You? And I was like sitting in bed watching on my iPad and just like slow tears falling down my face. And Joe walked in the room and he was like, what are you doing? Because he was in the living room, but he just heard Fix You like really loud. And he was like, what? He like yelled and was like, what sad thing is happening? Like, it was like, you just know it's never something good.
No.
But I really liked Firefly Lane. I'd give it a B plus. I enjoyed the second season. I'm looking forward. It's going to finish next summer. They had like a little teaser and I'm very intrigued to see what happens. They always try and throw you off with the teaser, which they definitely did. They try to make it seem like Katherine Heigl was marrying somebody that would be pretty fucking crazy if she married. And I'm not sure if they're just trying to throw us off the scent or not. So I'll do that. I started Wednesday. I thought I gotta know what the hype is. I watched 3 episodes. I'm gonna finish it because I just am gonna finish it. Like I want to know what happens because anytime there's like a mystery element, I'm like, well, I gotta know what happens. But definitely I want to say like 30 minutes into the first one, I was like, I could turn this off right now and be fine. Like I definitely could turn this off right now. Now I'm like too far in where I'm like, oh, I gotta watch to see what the fuck happens. But it's like for me, it's like a C minus. Like am I too old? Like, am I like missing something?
That's the lowest score you've given yet, I think, about something.
Yeah.
I'm almost impressed.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like it's the number one show. Like people are loving it, but are people like, are the 14-year-olds loving it? And I'm not getting it.
Listen, I'm with you.
Yeah. And normally I love those shows, like the ones that take like the Riverdale type things where they take characters and make them into teen dramas. Those are my favorites. But
I'm with you. I talked about how I turned it on and turned it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Jenna Ortega is great, but I don't know. Something about it was just like, this is not pulling me in as much as I thought it was going to. Reality TV. Now, I'm not going to grade Winter House and The Challenge, but I just want to throw out that I'm up to date on Winter House. Winter House is almost over, and I'm up to date on The Challenge. I think this has been a great season of The Challenge. Some really good new people. Have you watched, Rhea, any of The Challenge?
No, I planned on watching this season. I really did. And I fell off on keeping up week to week, which I'm disappointed in myself. And I know it wrapped up. And so I'm upset that I didn't continue.
Yeah.
Because I was excited to continue.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I really like some of the new people. Olivia from Love Island US is really good. Like she's a perfect challenge contestant in my mind. She's very competitive and like actually can compete. And then she's kind of, got a romance thing going on. Like she's very involved. She's literally like a star of the season. So I'm happy for her because I think she's crushing it. Seeing like how Tori and Jordan are interacting as well has been interesting. It's always something going on there, but I'm liking the season. And I will grade Real Housewives of Miami. Real Housewives of Miami is out on Peacock. And as far as reality shows, it's I don't know. I feel like I have to clarify because on the graphic, when we list it all and it's like scripted shows and reality shows, people are like, oh, Love Island Australia gets an A, but fucking Dead to Me gets a B minus. Like, how, and it's like, well, it's different. Like, that's an A in the reality TV world and a B minus in the scripted. Like, I feel like they should be separate.
But
people need to know.
Isn't it more just like you're grading it for like how much you enjoyed it? Like,
yeah, but it's not like people are like, how would you give any reality TV show an A?
You look at reality TV way differently.
But if you did a rewatch of Jersey Shore, you'd probably give it all an A. Like, there's reality TV that's A.
No, there is, but I'm just saying, like, when you compare it, that's like an A in reality TV. Like, it's an A because it's good reality TV.
No one's saying like, oh, Real Housewives of Miami is better production quality than like.
No, but when people see them all listed in a row, and it's like, oh, BBBC, and then like the 2 reality TV shows are A's, they're like, what? They're like, oh my God, she's got terrible taste in television. So I'm clarifying that like it's reality TV. Real Housewives of Miami is fantastic. Okay. I think people sleep on Real Housewives of Miami because it's on Peacock. I
definitely
love it.
It's on Peacock.
I love it. I think it gets a solid A to start. There's such good like Lisa and Lenny, this fucking guy, Lenny Rhea, he just uprooted his family completely. It's such a good intro season where it's like they have these happy times and then bam, they show these flashes to the future and Lenny's filing for divorce and he's got a new young girlfriend and they're fighting over the house. Like, it's crazy shit that's going on for her big time. And I just enjoyed the cast of characters. I think they're very funny and unique. And some cast members on Real Housewives are very boring. They're not boring. I love them. And guys, I told you I had a lot. I finished Harry and Meghan. Which was very interesting because I went from watching The Crown last night. Like, I watched 5 episodes of The Crown from this latest season up to episode 7. And then I watched the next 3 Harry and Meghan's. The Crown is just a phenomenal show. Like, The Crown, just production-wise, amazing show. The Crown is like always an A show for me. Harry and Meghan, the last 3, really, not that it flipped me so much, but regardless of how you feel about her or him or whatever, the shit that they went through is so insane. And the backup that they talk about, Prince Harry talking about, the institution and the press and how their comms offices were like battling each other. So when Harry and Meghan started to outshine the other royals like got pissed. And that's when things really started to turn bad for Meghan because Harry would say that the comms offices for the other royals would sell or like give bad stories or say like, well, why don't you print that instead of something about our person? So it's like they would battle with each other. And I think Charles is just an insecure loser who feels like if he's not center stage at all times, like he's the one that's supposed to be king and like, who's this girl? And Prince William the same way. They clearly want to protect the system. They're in line for the throne, but it's sad that their relationship is totally gone. But Prince Harry said like the last time he went to have a meeting about what was going to happen and like the separation that William was screaming and yelling and like they're clearly not on speaking terms. They showed like William send Harry a text message after the Oprah interview and he looked visibly shaken, Harry. They didn't tell us what the text said, but he looked visibly shaken by the text.
I would love to know what that text said.
I know. So, and it's just like,
you're a disgrace to our family.
I know. And Meghan, he was like, look, they're never going to see it from our point of view. They're basically like brainwashed. And Meghan talking about more of her mental health and everything that she was dealing with, like thinking that she wasn't enough. And if she was just gone, like all of this would end, dealing with her father and things being leaked in the press. At the end of this, I was like, you know what? The royal family fucking missed the mark so huge. Like they
Nice
would
pun.
have, they would have, like so many people have said, they would have done so many great things. I think if they actually protected them and put things out that would help them. Meghan is so good in that world. Like she wants to be the humanitarian and do the charity work and all those things. That's literally what the job is for what would have been the job. She would have done such a good job, and they treated her so poorly. And it was one thing, like after everything with Meghan, they never would put out statements or try and protect her. But the second that the rumors start to turn that Harry and Will were fighting and all this stuff, like they put out a joint statement from Harry and Will that like everything was okay. And Harry was like, I never signed off on that. Like it was crazy to see that they did that to protect William. They never even asked me. And that's what got put out. And they never put anything out for Meghan. So the parallels, Harry 100%, like I can see why he did what he did. He said it was his decision. He didn't want, I don't know how many people could say it, like history to repeat itself. He clearly could see parallels to what was happening and felt like that was the right decision. Now, the royal people who are just appreciate the whole institution and everything say that he betrayed the family, he's a disgrace, like all these things. But I think if you watch this, it comes off extremely genuine from where they are. And it seems like they're in a better place, such a better place now, and getting to, live their life and still do things that they're passionate about. But of course it's sad. Harry's like, look, I've lost that connection with them, like completely.
Yeah. I mean, he's completely lost his family, but it's also like, do you want your family to be these people? It's like I lost my family, but do I even want to interact with my family? It's very sad.
It is.
But I also think, like they're doing better now, but now they have to deal with everything that's coming from this documentary. Like, I'm sure they're going to be very upset with them about things they've revealed. I'm sure Will and Kate are not going to be happy about things that were in that documentary. No. But clearly they made a choice for a reason and they feel happy with it. So
absolutely. And I think like what you're going to see in the press too is exactly what they talk about. The Daily Mail is going to continue to post how awful the Harry and Meghan doc is, and that people trashing it, because that's such a big plot point in the documentary too, is them suing the Daily Mail for putting out her letter to her dad and all of those things that they just never. I think it was like just a massive reality check that Harry was like, I'm not important enough for them to try to protect, which is crazy. And now he has kids. And I think he was like, look what happened. Like, I never want my kids to go through what I went through and lose a parent. And here's my wife, like talking about these thoughts that she's having. And Harry was really open. He was like, I was stuck in that mindset for a while. Like, I was thinking about how it would affect the institution, not how it was affecting my wife. And he said, like, I hate myself for that. So he's definitely changed a lot too, and is like learning how to live life as a regular, as regular as you can get when you're still Prince Harry, but as not within the royal family. And I'm curious to see if anything will change with, the Queen's obviously not alive anymore. But like, they're so desperate to protect this very old school style that you're just going to become more and more irrelevant. People are just going to not care if you're going to keep like pushing people out, pushing family members out. So Harry and Meghan was fantastic. I thought it was a very good watch. This was I think the first three were a little slower. The second three, I would give a solid A. I really thought it was very good. I've talked a lot. I have two things that I'm just going to say so quickly. They were movies, Christmas movies. I tried to watch Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan. Turned it off after 20 minutes. God awful. F.
So awful. So awful. So bad.
F.
I watched it a while ago when it first came out. So bad.
I love Lindsay Lohan. Love her to death. And I hope she does more acting, but I couldn't get through this. Something from Tiffany's on Amazon Prime with Zoe Deutsch. I thought it was adorable. Christmas spirit. So cute. It didn't feel as cheesy as a lot of the Netflix holiday movies have been coming out. And I've seen people like really trashing those ones. I thought this was really sweet. Ray Nicholson is in it, guys. You know, it's our guy from what was the name of the show? Push?
The one on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Panic,
yes. He's in it. I thought it was very cute. B+. Solid B+ movie. Like very good, cute, quick little Christmas watch if you want to get into some holiday spirit. And okay, that's it.
Noah?
I'll be quick with mine. I watched Chippendales episode 5 today with Kumail. It's going back in the right direction for me. I'm being brought back in. I thought the last couple were like stupid. I also like knew nothing about the story. So part of me watching this is like, is this real? Did all this happen? Because it's like an insane story.
Yeah.
Like the behind the scenes of what happened. And Kumail is like a very good actor in it. So I'll give it a B, episode 5. I did watch something from Tiffany's as well. I did. Yeah. I saw Zoe Deutsch.
You do love Zoe Deutsch.
I mean, yeah, I like Zoe Deutsch. And also she has a good track record, I feel like, with rom-coms. Like I've
she
never
does
watched
good rom-coms.
a movie with her that I didn't like really. So I could just tell from the trailer that it was going to be like a solid. I'll give it I have it down as a B-. I thought it was pretty good.
That checks out. I that's exactly where I would expect you to put it.
It's also like from the second it started, you know what's happening. You know what's gonna happen. Like you know the end. Like the whole time, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think you kind of know that about a majority of rom-coms these days. Like nobody wants to go see a rom-com where the couple doesn't end up together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I did rewatch Prisoners as well. I give that an A. Great movie.
Such a good movie.
The White Lotus finale, I gave an A-. We already talked about that.
Yeah.
But I really like the ending of the White Lotus finale with the music and then walking down the street.
Yeah, that was a solid A for me as well. Did you give it an A, Rhea, or an A-? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Rhea. I think A as well.
And then I also saw one person say that the whole point of the two couples was that they turned in, like Aubrey Plaza and him turned into the other couple.
Yeah.
Which is like they become them now. Like they're cheating and like it's all fake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I watched
love a show that really makes you think, you know?
Yeah. Episode 1 of Harry and Meghan. I'll give it a B.
Yeah.
It's like interesting. I give you that. Like
I think you will. I honestly stick with it. I think 4, 5, and 6 were way more captivating than the first 3, because the first 3 is like very much a big setup and it like starts to tell you of like where things started to go wrong. And then 4 and 5 are heavy on what was going down when they actually left.
Yeah. It's just part of me is like, this is 100% their side of everything. So
of course it is.
I get it.
Of course it is.
So, I mean, I believe it, I guess. I believe most of what they're saying, but you never know. Like, what if Prince William came out with his own documentary? I'm sure it would not, like I'm sure he has his own side to everything as well. So
yeah, I agree. The inner workings of the family, like that is more he said, she said to me. Yeah. Like that could be like Prince William could tell his story, be totally different. It's more like the hardcore evidence of what the press was saying.
Yeah,
I think is undeniable.
Yeah, I think it makes Meghan Markle a little more likable in my eyes, I'd say, probably.
Yeah, I don't even, like I said, I don't even think like you can watch it regardless of how
it's interesting to see how
about
they
her.
met.
I think.
I mean, that's all I saw from episode 1, kind of like how they met.
Yeah, And I really, you know what I also really took away is they're very in love, which is like very admirable. They're like they really fucking love each other, which is really sweet.
I mean, at the
end of the day,
do.
at the end of the day, they seem like they really fucking love each other. So that's good too, obviously.
Yeah. That's it for me.
I have something about something we didn't watch, but I would like
Ooh.
to get my thoughts on because I meant to talk about it a couple episodes ago, never did. The Casey Anthony documentary on Peacock. I will not be fucking watching that because
No, me
I won't
neither.
give Casey Anthony a cent of my money. Um, Casey Anthony did it, okay? And here's the thing. There's a whole generation of people now on TikTok that do not remember the Casey Anthony trial happening or were even alive for that.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. And so now there's a bunch of people on TikTok that are
questioning it.
They're taking Casey Anthony's side because they
absolutely not.
So they are only seeing Casey Anthony's documentary because they do not remember when it was happening and they don't recall the trial and they're not looking up all of the past facts of like when it first came out and they're just going with what Casey Anthony's saying now. And so fucking Rosie O'Donnell, she started going on about how Casey Anthony didn't do it and that it was Casey Anthony's dad.
God.
Give me a break. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she's got a lot of credibility.
Don't you think that Casey Anthony, if somebody murdered her daughter, she would have acted so differently than how she acted? It's just insane. I wouldn't even go off too much about it. It's just if you don't.
No, fucking master class in lying.
Like she's had 10
Anthony.
years to come up with a new story.
Yeah.
No shit she's going to come up with a new story and try to convince you on her documentary. It's like some of the greatest acting I've seen in the clips. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I cannot believe this woman. She's a monster. She's a monster. Yeah. It's actually insane to see, and I will not be watching it. That's my thoughts on the Casey Anthony documentary.
Yeah, I would like to second everything you just said, and I too will not be watching. I think that's everything. I think that's what a lot of hours clocked, obviously, mostly on my end. Had one of those weeks.
It's been a cold week. Okay, you have to cuddle up and watch some TV.
He's clocking a lot of TV hours this week.